The reason why waiters in Kenya will attend to white people first before fellow black people is because of societal assumption that white people are superior. This notion did not come about by accident. It's part of the system set up by British colonial government when they established themselves in East Africa. At that time, segregation was the norm, and you'd see this in many facets of life. For example, white people had their own toilets, the flushable ones. Indians used ceramic step toilets, and black people used latrines which were constructed outside the house. Trains were also segregated, first class for Europeans only, second and third class for the rest of the population. Growing up in such an environment made Africans view themselves as inferior, and then when Western education was offered to Africans, those who worked for settlers and managed to be in their good graces were able to afford a somewhat similar lifestyle. So black people started to aspire to live like a Mzungu. This meant speaking English. Nowadays, this goes as far as trying to sound British or American. And one thing that pains me is that most people in our country think that speaking English is a measure of intelligence. You'll even see senior professionals during the 7 p.m. Swahili news. They are there to be interviewed, and then all of a sudden they turn to the news anchors and say, "Mtaniruhusu kuongea Kimombo." And then they proceed to speak Swahili as though it's a foreign language, mixing it with English as they try to argue their points. You'd be surprised the same people speak fluent French, but Swahili is where they draw the line. Back in the 80s and 90s, imported clothing was considered superior than what was made here in Kenya. Those who could afford to do this were categorized as part of the upper class. There are so many examples of these scenarios. Until we start viewing our own inventions and our own fashion and everything else made within the continent as superior, our waiters will run to serve white people first, and you'll be kept waiting or ignored altogether. The systems created by the British colonial government are still standing today, and they do affect us economically as well. The winners of last year's Nobel Prize for Economic Sciences clearly showed this in their research. You can check out the summary on the website. The reason why waiters in Kenya will attend to white people